guys, it's Monday, March 7th. I'm Asia Celestino and Channel 1 News starts right now. First up today, former First Lady Nancy Reagan passed away yesterday. She was 94 years old and suffered heart failure. But her story started not in politics, rather in Hollywood. She arrived in Hollywood as actress Nancy Davis. That's where she met her future husband, actor Ronald Reagan.
I was afraid you wouldn't come.
After appearing in 11 films, she became a full-time mom. Soon after that, she became First Lady of California. Then First Lady of the United States in 1981, when Ronald Reagan was sworn in as president. And as they settled into the White House, Mrs. Reagan launched an ambitious renovation of the White House. She then moved on to her signature policy issue, the war on drugs. Her Just Say No campaign swept across the country and into schools. She even became the first First Lady to address the United Nations General Assembly and found words for Ronald Reagan even when he couldn't.
Doing everything we can. Doing everything we can.
After leaving the White House, she devoted her life to taking care of President Ronald Reagan, who suffered from Alzheimer's disease until he died in 2004. Historians say her last years were lonely, as she grew frail and older, but she still managed to make some public appearances. All right, up next, the SAT gets an upgrade.
I'm really worried. One of my friends is living on the street.
I know someone who can help.
Who?
1-800-RUNAWAY.org. Trust the National Runaway Switchboard. If you're having a hard time, get online or call to chat now.
Teaching a kid football is one thing. Keeping a kid in school, that's the name of my game. My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
I hate it when they all start pushing. My parents, teachers, even my friends. It's like if I slip up, even a little, I'll never be able to get up. I feel so suffocated, I just wanna... Sometimes your life feels so out of control, like you can hardly breathe. Whatever you're dealing with, problems with girlfriends, boyfriends, your family, pressures at school, we're here anytime to give you help and hope. Just call 1-800-448-3000 or go to yourlifeyourvoice.org.
The SAT, a standardized exam used for college admissions, just got an update. Maggie's here to tell us more.
Yeah, the College Board hopes that this new test will better measure a student's readiness for college and career. Like Nori Hassan of New Jersey, you may have been among the first round of high school students who took the new SAT this weekend.
It was a little more easier to understand than the old SAT. And the math, there was definitely a lot more data, a lot more tables, graphs.
The new test is supposed to better reflect what students are learning inside the classroom, with the hopes of creating a level playing field for students who can't afford tutors. Among the changes, the new test has fewer questions than the current test. It eliminates vocabulary words students rarely use. There's no penalty for guessing answers. And the essay portion is now optional.
This is not rocket science preparing for the SAT.
Lee Weiss is Vice President of Kaplan Test Prep.
The College Board has lost ground to ACT over the last few years. The SAT is the second most popular admissions test in the U.S. for college students, behind the ACT. So a lot of changes have been made, perhaps to catch up to the ACT.
But some critics say taking the new test is a gamble.
Nobody wants to buy a product the first day it's out on the market because they don't know what could go wrong with it.
With the old SAT, students would find out their score in about 4 weeks. But with the new test, results can take 6 to 8 weeks because the score reports are that much more complex.
Thanks, Maggie. Okay, after the break, we head to the front lines of a decades-old war.
You
might feel like there's too many problems in the world, or that, you as a 15-year-old, 16-year-old can't really make a difference.
It's not always about you. It's not just one person. It's a group. It's a team. If we all show up together, that's what it's all about.
I was a part of helping to build what it is today.
I'm really lucky to get to be a part of that legacy.
Just that simple act that takes, 5 or 10 minutes of your time is making a difference and is transforming someone else's life.
Once you get there and realize how much you can change someone's life, it's one of the best feelings in the world.
I'd do anything to convince you just to be a part of this.
You guys keep doing what you're doing, it's something special.
Get up and try something. Just try it. Just go to one event, one action team event.
It'll just make you feel so good about yourself.
Earlier in the show, we covered the death of former First Lady Nancy Reagan. One of her biggest missions was pushing anti-drug efforts across the country with her Just Say No campaign. It was all part of America's controversial war on drugs. But lately, many have been asking if this is a war we should still be fighting. We wanted to get a better understanding, so we sent Tom Hansen on a year-long investigation to learn more.
Police, come to the door! We have a warrant!
We're fighting back on every front against an enemy crossing into our country through tunnels, submarines, drones, even inside the human body. And the death toll is climbing.
I don't want to live my life this way. I'm gonna end up dead or in prison.
One of America's longest, most expensive wars ever.
Hands up! Get on the ground!
The war on drugs. To date, it's cost more than our wars in Afghanistan, Iraq, or Vietnam. So after more than 40 years of fighting, I wanted to find out, are we winning this war? My investigation took me around the world, down a rabbit hole to places few people go.
When you go on patrols like these, do you ever get nervous?
Witnessing things I couldn't believe.
In the bumper, we found 25 to 30 pounds of crystal meth.
An underground world of drugs and violence.
This is a house that was caught in the middle of a gun battle, and you can see that it was sprayed with bullets. People are just using it out in the open. I have to admit, it's pretty shocking.
When you see the scars on your arms, what do you think?
I regret. But I use again and I forget.
I found, like so many others, this war has a complex history. Recreational drug use really surfaced in the US in the 1800s, after the Civil War, and drugs like opium, heroin, morphine, and cocaine were legal.
In the 19th century, so long as most consumers of opiate drugs were middle-aged white women, nobody thought to make it illegal. Cocaine was widely used in the late 19th century. Coca-Cola had cocaine in it until the year 1900.
But because of rising addiction rates and a rising concern of crimes by minorities on drugs, the US passed its first drug ban in 1914, which made it illegal to manufacture marijuana, cocaine, heroin, and morphine. But what's considered the modern drug war didn't come about until the late 60s.
The real beginnings of the modern American war on drugs was Richard Nixon.
America's public enemy number one is drug abuse.
It was a period where drug use was growing. You had a huge cultural conflict between Nixon and the older generation and a sort of younger generation that was being more rebellious. So that's when you saw the dramatic escalation of the war on drugs.
In order to fight and defeat this enemy, it is necessary to wage a new all-out offensive.
It was the height of the hippie movement. Free love and drugs ruled, and everyone wanted to appear tough on drugs. By 1973, the Drug Enforcement Administration, or DEA, was created to monitor drug production all over the world, and the concept of a drug-free world took hold, what's turned out to be an impossible task.
We've heard the mantra, a drug-free world. Is that actually possible?
No.
Would you care to elaborate on that?
Since 1971, the U.S. has spent more than $1 trillion fighting the war on drugs, filling up half of our federal prison space with drug offenders. Yet nearly 1 in 10 Americans admit to taking illegal drugs regularly. The drug trade itself is booming.
It's a supply and demand business. If we continue to demand the substance, somebody is going to supply it.
In fact, the illegal drug business is a global industry that rivals the oil trade, reaching all parts of the world.
If you dip your hand down almost anywhere from Australia, New Zealand to Europe to the Middle East, you'll find drug markets.
We go after the biggest and the baddest of the drug dealers in the world. Not just in America, any place in the world, we're coming for you if you're dealing hard narcotics.
But many are asking what this war is good for, saying fighting for a drug-free world is a losing battle.
The war on drugs cannot be won. There's no way to win a war against a global commodities market.
A recent report by some of the world's brightest minds, 21 Nobel Prize winners, has called for an end to the war on drugs, saying it's caused more problems than it's solved. An unfair jail system in America, an industry run by violent gangs who operate in the shadows, stronger terror groups, and no major impact on addiction or drug abuse. Is it time for us to surrender?
War on drugs has got to end. It's crazy to keep spending all this money locking people up, throwing money down the drain on approaches that don't work.
At what point would you call off the war on drugs?
I don't think you can call the war any more than you would want to call off the war on poverty. You're not going to get everybody out of poverty. You're not going to get everybody out of drugs, but you keep fighting the war anyway.
Over the next few weeks, we'll take you to the front lines.
Half an ounce of meth, and that's going to land these people some felony charges.
To meet the soldiers.
We're about to check out the spot where one of their members died.
And the victims.
Él es mi hermano. Él está secuestrado el 5 de julio del 2012.
Of the war on drugs. Tom Hansen, Channel 1 News.
To hear from Tom and our producer Demetrius about what it was like to research this series and travel to different parts of the globe to get the story, just head to channel1.com. Alright guys, the series continues tomorrow, and that's when we'll see you right back here.
Good morning, Shafer Sharks. I'm Tommy along with Shannon, Leah, and Nyota. It's Monday, March 7th, Day A, National Cereal Day. Did you know that in 1877, Ferdinand Schumacher, a German immigrant, had the first registered trademark for breakfast cereal? It was a Quaker symbol. Today's cereal is not only eaten for breakfast, but it is also used in cookies, cake, or bar recipes. The most popular one is Rice Krispies. And now, would you please rise for the pledge to the flag? Pledge allegiance to the flag. Thank you. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may now be seated. Please listen to our morning announcements.
Today's weather, sunny today with a high of 61 degrees. For lunch, breaded chicken on a whole wheat bun, diced carrots, broccoli, and cheese sauce. For dessert, mixed fruit along with your original healthy milk.
Happy birthday to Corey Robinson, who celebrates his birthday this weekend. Let's hear that birthday song.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Roll your fingers out and make your wishes come true. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Is closed today. I repeat, the library is closed.
Today's Shark announcements. There will be a meeting in room 226 after school for all boys interested in playing baseball on Thursday, March 10th. Trials will begin on Monday, March 14th. You must have a sports physical in order to participate. Thanks, Coach Gordon and McCabe.
Broad Street practice this week will be held on Tuesday and Thursday at Shafer and Saturday morning at BHS at 9 a.m.
Congratulations to our first runners of the week, Angelo Torres and Gabby Rizzo. They both got a t-shirt for coming to practice and working hard while they were there.
Attention all track stars. Track tryouts will begin on Monday, March 14th, after school. You must have a physical in order to try out. Please come prepared with your sneakers, a change of clothes, and a great attitude. Remember, if you are ineligible, you will not be able to try out and you will miss your chance to be a part of all the fun. Please be mindful of your grades, check Home Access Center daily, hand in all of your work, and put forth the effort now. It's going to be an exciting season.
Any questions and for physical forms, please see Ms. McKenty, room 218, or Mr. Plunkett, room 103.
And now here's Leah.
Attention girls trying out for soccer. Please come down to room 113 to add your name to the tryout list. Coach Sabatini will be checking that physicals are completed prior to next Monday's tryout. If you do not have a completed physical, you cannot attend the tryout. Please sign up as soon as possible.
There will be a softball meeting on Tuesday in room 205. Bring your gloves for throwing practice as long as you have a physical to begin tryout in the gym or outside, depending on the weather. Thank you, Coach Bostic.
Attention Reading Olympics. We will be meeting in the library this Wednesday. We will be reviewing important information and practicing for the competition, so please do your best to be there. Those of you who have not paid for your t-shirt yet need to bring it in this week.
Do you love learning how things work? Do you love to build things? Do you love engineering? Well, we have the club for you. Starting on March 15th, Miss O'Hay and Mr. Grayson will start an engineering club after school on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Sign-up sheets will be outside Miss O'Hay's room 207. 007. Please have all permission forms signed and brought back to her by March 14th. Thank you.
Shafer Spirit Night will be held on Wednesday, March 16th from 6:30 to 7:30 at the Neshaminy Mall, Barnes & Nobles. Come out and see our orchestra, choir, and jump rope team perform, all while enjoying a blue and white shark frappuccino. There will also be a special appearance by author Tiffany Schmidt, so bring any copies of her book you'd like signed. Remember, percentage of everything purchased that entire week will come back to our school. Just be sure to tell the cashier you're with Shafer Middle School. All Shafer sports players, please come dressed in your Shafer athletic gear to show your pride. If you have any questions, please see Mrs. Bray.
That concludes the show for today. Make this day a good one.
Keep it classy, stay beautiful.